Andrew, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me for the second time.
I love getting to catch up with you. We go back and forth a bit on social media, and I have been loving watching your social media posts. And you're doing an amazing thing for holidays. So I figured this is a great time to catch up. Everybody, for now, give everybody a little bit of information on you in case they didn't hear the first podcast episode.
Yeah, I'm Andrew. I'm a Seattle-based business owner, and I own the brand That's So Andrew, which is a gift line for the girls, gays, and theys. And I'm about 3 years in. I've scaled the brand to be a multi six-figure brand. I also work full-time as a flight attendant and have like 2 other half businesses going on. So I do a lot. And yeah, that's the gist.
When we first talked, I was like, because it was like the magician pulling shit out of their hat. I was like, oh yeah, oh yeah, and I did that, and I was like, oh my god. And you're still surprising me with things that you are pulling out of the rabbit's hat. So I love that we're getting a chance to like do this now. I wanted to touch on the show season. We just technically wrapped it. By the time everyone hears this, it's going to be closer to holiday, but your booth looks amazing, for one. And I love that you brought your dad with you. Was it near or was it Atlanta?
I did Atlanta and New York now, and I brought Dad to Atlanta.
Okay, that was so amazing. One, I love your parents. I mean, you have so much support. It's so clear. I mean, I love it so much. But was that his first show?
So this was his first time going to a trade show. He's traveled with me and helped out at some like local retail shows. But after he like built that booth for me, it's been a year and a half of using that booth now, and he had never seen it. And I was like, just come. Like, him and I both fly. Like, I'm already paying it. Come down. And I was expanding the booth from 13 feet to 21. And I needed a handyman to deal with some of the logistics of that. And I was like, I need your help also. So it was so fun. He had a great time. He really didn't understand how insane the trade shows are and how much people put into their setups, because it really is an insane level of work, especially the people that are doing custom booths. And he treated it like a vacation. He helped me set up, and then he was off doing Mark things, and he would come to the trade show like for an hour a day, and I would barely see him. Everyone at the trade show was like, we don't care if you're here again. We want your dad. It was so funny. He was the life of the party. Yeah.
When I was watching it, you're like, okay, I have no idea where my father went. Like, he's just like, where would he go? Like, and honestly, how did he not get fucking lost? Because I've talked to so many players that were like, okay, I don't even know where we are. I don't know what building we're in. I just know that I keep going in circle. Like, where did he go?
Oh, in terms of like the market, he only spent one day traveling around. I gave him like a little guideline of the themes of each floor that are very generic. And that man spent like 4 hours in the cash and carry section one day, and he was having the time of his life. But the other days, I taught him how to use Google Maps in like the last couple years. And he went to the aquarium. He went to the Coke Museum. He tried to go to the Federal Reserve, but it was closed. Like, he was all over downtown Atlanta, and he'd never been, like, that was the farthest east he's ever been. And so he was living his best life of just a random 69-year-old dude with no responsibilities, retired. And yeah.
What I hope for myself.
Yeah. But he was so helpful, and he did a lot of the tedious work that I probably wouldn't have done. Like, to be honest, the booth needed like a full kind of retouch of paint and things that I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't have time. And so I was very glad he came. It ended up, he did a lot of the detail work, and the booth looked so much better because it gets pretty dinged up in storage and things.
It also was so much, okay, you're already kind of spicy anyway. I mean, it was even more spicy, which I love. That big sticker that said, my ex-husband, what is it? My ex-husband said I'm an asshole.
So I sell small products. I sell cards and keychains and things that aren't really captivating to people walking by. And so I was like, how can I really get people's attention with some words? And so I did a huge 8-foot tagline that said gifts for the girls, gays, and nays, which is always pretty solid. And then I did some other reviews basically. And so I put some words in quotes. I kind of made these vinyl cutouts and they were like 12 inches. And so one of them said like, best Christmas bags under that fucking Christmas tree. Sincerely, Santa Claus. And then the other one said the owner of this brand is an asshole. And the quote was from my ex-husband. And I'm not going to lie, that sticker alone got me 2 orders at the trade show because people were walking by cracking up. And it was not everyone noticed it, but the people that did just like keeled over laughing. And I think it was a great way to capture the potential humor and like my sense of humor, which translates to my brand. So like it attracted the right kind of people.
I love it because I think anyone who has an ex, I mean, mine, I'm pretty sure thinks I'm an asshole. And
yeah,
I think that's the reason why I was like, oh my God, I love that so much. Your brand also looks like, tell everyone that doesn't know the brand, but give everyone a little brief detail on what your brand is, and then talk about your new intros, like the keychains.
So the brand is very snarky, and for a long time it was very minimalist in terms of color. I'm not like a formal graphic designer. I'm self-taught. I consider myself more of a copywriter. That's like my talent, but I've really ventured into color in the last year. So the booth that we built out, which is somewhere on my Instagram, I'm sure. I did all black walls, and then I kind of used some colors as accents. And there's over 600 different SKUs in my 21 foot by 8 booth.
I didn't realize you.
Yeah.
Holy, wow.
Yeah. So it was crazy in Atlanta. Like everything was out. And so my release schedule is how I like to do it. January is for expanding product categories that I already have. And then July is new product introductions. And so this last July, I released 25 new keychains, which was a new product category. And then 31 pen sets, which was a new product category. And then I redesigned all my gift banks and launched them in 2 new sizes. So I released almost 70 SKUs for July, which was insane. But I love the summer shows, even though they tend to be a little bit slower. I just think like my products are like perfect for getting those stocking stuffers and getting the store stocked for holiday time. So that's kind of why I do all the new stuff in the summer. But yeah, they went over really, really well. When I develop new product lines, I set a goal for myself to recoup the investment through trade show season. So by the end of the trade show, I at least want all the inventory paid for, not necessarily like turning a profit, but like we're back to zero and now everything else is profit. And the keychains and pens like smacked it out of the water, and it really solidified for me that the direction I'm going, which I want to kind of become more of a gift brand rather than a stationery company, is I feel very validated in that mission that I have in my head going on. So
that's amazing. So that's got to feel really good.
It does. It does. Yeah. And they're fun. It's just like it's fresh and fun to me. And I did a huge photo shoot for the keychains, which was received so well.
Yeah. That was my next question is, did you shoot that on your iPhone or did you shoot it? Because, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, iPhones now, as we all know, there's actually a couple producers that actually film with the however you say that. But how did you, like, what was filming time? How long did it take? The girls are, whose car was it?
Yeah. So if you go on my Instagram, I've posted like probably 30 of the images. So this year at the beginning, we're in September right now. The beginning of the year, one of the big goals I set for myself was I wanted to change my content creation plan. And I always felt like posting graphics and posting like pictures of cards, like it just wasn't really doing it for me. And so a mental switch I had this year is because of a TikTok that I saw is where this came from. On Instagram, there's either brands with personas or there's personas with brands. And I want to be a persona with a brand is kind of how I revamped it in my head. And so I hired a photographer. I went to high school with her and I said, look, this is what I want. Like, I can't afford expensive photo shoots at a chunk. So we worked out a deal where I pay her a flat monthly fee and we basically bank shooting hours. It's just like a subscription. It's like I made a subscription plan basically for myself.
That's great. My dogs are going to lose their mind in a second. So I'm going
to. You're fine. So yeah, we have her on a subscription and her name's Whitney. She's great. I've gone to school with her since like 7th grade and she gave me a killer deal. But we did, we've done 2 photo shoots now and we have a meeting tomorrow to plan a couple more. But the keychains was, I want to go like retro vintage car vibes. And so we shot with a 1966 Chevelle, which is my dad's car. And then a 1960 something white Corvette. And so for the white Corvette, we did like a old money theme in terms of attire. And then we didn't shoot with the Chevelle. We shot with the buggy. There's a Chevelle. I have a Chevelle at disposal, but I didn't use it. We shot with the vintage 1960 dune buggy that my dad rebuilt during COVID. And we went Grease vibes for that. So it was leather jackets, black and white, because the keychains are very colorful. So I wanted the rest to be not. And it was my little sister and my niece in the photos with me. And we got it done in like an hour and a half. We were very, very efficient and productive with our photos. But I feel like product photos are so like, they belong in a catalog, not on Instagram. And I think seeing people and keeping my face on the brand is like just the direction I want to go. And I don't care. As long as there's a product somewhere in the photo, it works. Or I'm in the photo. Cause like I've come to the conclusion I am the brand, I am the product.
And I think a lot of people that are nervous about getting on Instagram or afraid to do lives or like trying to explain to them that you are the brand and people are connecting with you. I mean, it's like you kind of put it all out there. I mean, like your coffee talks in the morning, but I think a good way of thinking about it is you are the brand and you need to be visible. And I mean, it's okay. Really quick. When you said old money, I got mob wife vibes from
like Hampton old money was the, cashmere and beiges. Like, we just left the country club was kind of the idea because it was a white Corvette with the tan leather seats. And so, yeah.
Very well done, I must say. And then did she also do the photo shoot with you in the background, which is the fucking most brilliant thing ever? I mean, come on. I'm sorry.
So if you follow Beyonce, she dropped a country album called Cowboy Carter. And when I found out my photographer had a horse, I was racking my brain around ideas. This was like back in like end of April or like May. And I was like, Whitney, I want to do something with your horse, but I don't know what. And the only idea that came to my head was, what if we took the horse to the post office and I put letters in the drive up? I rode horseback through the post office to deliver letters. And she was like, my horse is 28 years old. You're not taking them like through. So then all of a sudden, like I had a light bulb moment. I was like, what if we recreate Beyonce's album? And she goes, well, that album cover is AI. And I was like, well, I don't need to, let's do it for real. So for those that are watching, we have the horse photo, which I love and framed. But so we did.
How is the horse with you? Okay, I mean, you're side saddle on it. Are you?
Okay. So it's not AI, but it is photoshopped. And so this is like 3 images put in one. So the photo of the horse is real. We took a photo of me on the horse for the size scale. And then this, you cannot ride a horse like this, especially a moving one. So we did this off and then she put the 3 images together. And the horses were absolutely petrified of the flags and stuff. So like they ran every time. And I was like, oh, my photographer's horses are homophobic. That's great. But it was like a great way to kick off like a pride shoot. And I've never done anything pride related. And I think it was just a great moment for me to reinvent what my Instagram content would look like. And I deleted my entire Instagram feed before releasing these. So I got rid of it all, started from zero. Yeah, acted like I was famous. And then we got some separate shots just with like the Western aesthetic that turned out good. Like this is one of my favorite photos ever. And this is like 100%, like the background was Photoshop removed. But other than that, like that's exactly how it happened. So yeah, I am having a lot of joy doing the content creation with her. And I think that's really important for me. This year's been a lot of not happy things. And so doing things that make me excited again and get me on Pinterest and making boards, it's been really good for like my creative outlet. Because as a designer, like being forced to design for releases and stuff isn't always the most feeling, you know?
I was like, imagine it's a lot. I mean, I'm the horrible person that waits till the last minute and then it's like, oh my God. But and apparently I seem to work better that way because when I try doing things way far out in advance, I just don't feel that creative. And it's like when it's down to the wire is where I can go really deep. And I guess I suddenly don't feel bad spending 8 hours deep diving.
Yeah.
Or I guess before, if it's way too far in advance, I feel like I must feel like I'm wasting my time. I don't know. Cause it's a weird thing. I wish I could do it in advance. It would sure take a lot of stress off.
Yeah. Just, being forced when you monetize creativity, it makes the relationship with it kind of weird and finding that balance. And the way I work around it is when I have the inspiration, I run with it. And so like it's September and I got my Valentine's card samples back today. I have felt so motivated to do like new design work, which is crazy. And but then circling back to our trade shows, I did Atlanta with Dad. We had a great show. Did New York, which was my first time in New York now. And I actually had like my best summer show market ever. I picked up some really cool new accounts that had been like long-term goals of mine. If you know anything about, I'm not from the West Coast or New York, so I don't know anything about prestigiousness of New York, but I got into McNally Jackson Books, which I guess is a very,
very big,
like good thing to happen. And I met the owner of the company. She was super sweet. I got into Archer Paper, which has like been a long-term goal of mine to get into their stores, like a Southeast chain. It was really good. And I did it on a budget. I stayed with my friend who also sells greeting cards, on a twin air mattress in her bedroom. And so it's nuts, but like New York hotels would have been like $2,000. And so like, if I would have spent that $2,000 on hotels, it wouldn't have been such a successful show. So
yeah, it's stupid expensive. I love that show. It's gotten obviously smaller, and I used to do setups for it for the Harper Group, and where I'd be there 5 days straight. I think of like 12 hours.
Yeah,
and then I never stayed for the show. I came back last year, I think, and did a little bit of the like Q&A things with vendors and stuff, but. It's such a New York just as a whole is just such an amazing experience. And to do a show there and have all that energy around, I think is like so good. And you are friends now with the girls from Ultimate Product Party. You had gone to the event and you were one of the speakers and, or you were the table. You did
I did one of the round tables. Yeah.
Those were there, including Allison, who was doing her own little Q&A, walking through the aisles, which I loved seeing from the side. I had a little bit of FOMO, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, Kat and I have been friends for a couple years now, and then Alice and I obviously met through them, and it was one of my highlights of this year. That was back in April, was teaching a little 20-minute course 6 separate times about my experience with trade shows and the things I recommend. And so that is a picture of us at the event right here. And then some other wins this year is I got into Urban Outfitters, which was like one of my biggest goals for myself since like inception. And to accomplish it in less than 3 years is nuts, to be honest, but that's this photo. So yeah, I know that's what's behind me. This is my wall of Andrew. We're in my studio right now. I'm going to swap out one of the Pride ones eventually once there's a new photo, but yeah, those are my big wins this year. Urban Outfitters, and then kind of fulfilling that teaching side of myself.
Urban's amazing. I mean, obviously, it's the parent company of Anthropologie, and I was with that brand for a long time, and I still adore that brand so much. I think I was commenting when you were pointing it out. I'm like, those should be on plate stands. So you and I talked, you reached out, you talked to me about your newest little project, which is not such a little project. You cashed when I bought this building, and it was like, I mean, okay, remind everybody how old you are, because it's really amazing to see what you've accomplished, and you're super young. I mean, for what you've accomplished and what you're doing, it's really amazing.
So I'm 26 years old. It's 26 and a half tomorrow, if that helps. I only know it's my half birthday because it's my uncle's birthday, so we always make jokes to each other. I about a year ago, or like a year and a half ago, I had an opportunity to buy a commercial building in my hometown, and we filmed a Kickstarter for it because we wanted to build out like a progressive dive bar, just like a safe space for women, queer people, and people of color in general, because there's just not that here in this the outskirts of Seattle. I live like an hour outside of the city, and the deal fell through. But then back in June, the deal kind of came back around. And so we closed on the building on September 1st, and we no longer have like access to the funding to do the build out all at once, because it's like $100,000 to build a kitchen and a bar and all that stuff. And so my business partner and I, we split the building down payment, and we were brainstorming like ideas to pay the rent, basically. And so I was like, well, we could just do a store. We could do a gift shop. And, you know, I have a huge line that like we won't have to upfront any of the costs to get some stuff stocked. I know so many great selling lines, and I know what sells. I'd done retail before. And then we kind of honed into doing a pop-up Christmas shop instead of a long-term gift shop. Retail kind of struggles a little bit in my hometown, except during the Christmas season. So this is kind of our workaround. And so, yeah, we're opening a Christmas store, and I've gotten so many DMs and questions from people about like the process and what that looked like, and timelines and things. And the reason I reached out is I thought it would be a perfect kind of conversation for your audience. And I'm a very transparent person. And so we're planning a follow-up episode. So if you have questions, send them. We'll talk about them there. And I'll report back how much money we make and what happens. So that's what I'm painting.
The bar part of it is still going to happen, but it's just a little
So
bit.
it's going to happen, but it's going to happen in phases. So we're kind of spreading out like an 18-month plan. And so it's a 2,000 square foot building. So for these next 3 months, it'll be the pop-up gift shop front to back. There is kind of like it's almost split in the middle or down the middle. And so there's like a back half and a front half. So we're opening that So Festive is the Christmas store. And then we're going to close that December 23rd. And I'm taking January off for doing anything crazy because I have to do trade shows. And during that time, we're going to start phase 1 of our construction, which is building a cold kitchen. And a cold kitchen is just a certified health department kitchen that doesn't have a hood. So you can't like grill or deep fry or things like that. But like Subway, Starbucks, like they have cold kitchens. There's no significant cooking because the hood is like $50,000 to $100,000, and I'm not spending that much money to work on a fryer. So we're building out a cold kitchen, and then phase 2 will be to reopen as a cafe / gift shop. So we'll do keep doing construction in the back, but have a working kitchen, and then the front half will stay a pretty gift shop. And then once we have the money for phase 3 is to get rid of the gift shop and then build out bar stuff, stages, furniture, pool tables, that type of things. And all the permitting for a bar is expensive. It costs like $5,000 to $8,000 worth of permits and fees from like the liquor board here. So just everything, we're breaking it up in chunks. We might do a little fundraising, just seeing how it goes. But the goal for now is until we're at that point, hopefully the gift shop can generate just enough income revenue to pay the mortgage is kind of the goal.
You have a big gay community there? Like, because I know you're doing it for a safe space because, I mean, like I live now in Medford and there is not a large, there is that community, but it's not, this area is not diverse.
Totally. Yeah.
I wonder, we went, like, for instance, we went to Bend, which is 3 hours from here. And everyone's like, you're really going to like it so much more. I bet you're going to want to move there. I'm like, why? Got there and it's so cute. But we walked into this little cafe called Sparrow. And the two people I see at the first is a lesbian couple and a Kamala t-shirt. And I'm like, okay. Like, and you would not see that at all in this neighborhood. So, with your products, and if you're creating this safe space, it seems like taking the retail part of it. What happens if the retail part blows up? Because if you have that community built in, people are going to want.
So we've talked about, my business partner and I have talked about what if the gift shop kills it. And the plan would be to buy the building next door.
Okay, good. I have a plan. I don't doubt it.
Yeah, I would never eliminate something that's making me money. Or that's having an impact on our community. In terms of like our gay population, we have like, it's nothing I would call like large, but we do have a very diverse community in terms of racial backgrounds, ethnicities, and like orientations. And the thing about our like hometown and the adjacent one, I live in Monroe, Washington, next door is Snohomish. There's only like 2 bars that people my age go to. And I can't go to either of those bars without hearing some white hick say the N-word or get called the F slur or, and all I want is a place that isn't like, that's not okay. And regardless of if there's 3 or 300 gay people here, like we only have a population of 20,000, but there's a lot of neighboring suburbs. I think if we have a good vibe and if we have good music and we have that aesthetic that attracts the type of people that aren't ignorant bigots, it'll be successful. And I think word will spread. And we have a local pride event. This next year will be like year 5 of doing it. I planned year 2. I was the coordinator of it. And we had the largest turnout out of our entire county of a pride event, and we had over 2,000 people come. And so I think there's a lot of queer people or people like you, like friends that have queer friends that you still want to go out with and you want to do something, that don't want to go to the city. Because I'm tired of going to the city. I'm like an old man. I'm like, I don't want to drive 45 minutes to go to a Seattle club that charges you $20 to walk in the door. So I think it'll be successful. And it's not a gay bar. It's just a safe bar.
Safe. I love the word safe. Like you, on your last interview, we talked about when you did the Dallas show and then you went to go to dinner and it was like, where do I go in this city? Because it's very masculine.
Yeah. Well, it's very masculine and it's very weird. And they have a gayborhood, which like I made it my way there. But my first 30 minutes walking down the streets of Dallas, someone drove by and called me the F slur. And so it's like, it was just a really weird experience. And I had a retailer use the word, not in like an insulting way, but in a, she was like, do you have any cards that like say happy birthday fag? And I was like, no. And why are you saying that? And she's like, oh, my gay friend said I can say that. I'm like, I'm telling you, you cannot say that to me. And it was just, they were just interesting interactions. And I did kind of like swear off Dallas after that, but top secret, I'm going back in January.
I think it's a great show. I think you're going to find ignorance everywhere.
Everywhere. Absolutely.
fortunately the way, but I think having you there, being you, I think if you don't understand and you don't have any gay friends, because that's, I mean, you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes
Totally.
live in areas that don't have gay friends or black or brown friends. And so it's like, it's an anomaly. So I think having you there as, the gay representative, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I see the purpose of what just my presence there does. Additionally, I can't write off an entire show because of two weird interactions. And it was just more like a confidence thing of not feeling comfortable going back because I didn't handle both those situations very well. And I think I've learned a lot more in the last 2 years of if something like that happens, how to handle it in a way that is effective rather than reactive. And I have Texas is my third biggest state in terms of retailers. So, Austin's gay, San Antonio's gay, even parts of Dallas are gay, and the surrounding, there's gay people everywhere. And I don't know who says that, but someone says that in a movie. It's so funny. And so, yeah, and it's a pretty budget friendly trade show to do when you compare it to Atlanta, Vegas, and New York. So gonna make my return.
Did you do Vegas? I thought you were going.
I've done Vegas once, and I was going to in January. And just because of our political and economical climate, I'm being a little bit more reserved on the money I'm spending on trade shows. I have decided right now my plan is to always do Atlanta. It's my favorite show. I have a great spot. And then I think each season I'll trickle in a traveling show. So I'll do Dallas in the winter, maybe Vegas in the summer, or New York again, and just kind of spot those around.
Smart way to spread it out and not burn out your wallet, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah. And there's a couple other shows that I want to try out that aren't just the gift shows. So I'm trying to keep a little bit more room in the budget to do those.
I love hearing that. Okay, so let's get down to the brass tacks on the store, the pop-ups.
Okay. Hit me.
First one I always have is, okay, you know the space. You are going to bring in other people, kind of like a collaboration, which I love. And I think I asked you when I taught you it because I've said for a long time, I think the way of retail, these collaborations or these multi-owner concepts where it reads as one brand when you walk in, is kind of the way retail's going, especially with, I mean, it's always changing, but especially with some of these big ass buildings that somebody wants to do something big to take on their own. And
totally.
Then, like the Joshua Tree or the Mojave Desert, I think it's the Mojave Desert Flea Market. Which,
yeah. I know. I want to go to those so bad. You told me they're so cool.
Good. They're so good. And, but they are very controlled on what the overall visual looks like, fixturing. So when you walk through it as a consumer, you can tell it's different brands and different ownership, but as a whole, it reads as one big. So my first question is, how are you handling the occupancy, who are you bringing in, and then how are you handling the overall aesthetic?
So I feel like the building being cut in half is almost a blessing. So there's like a wall down the middle, and then there's a hallway separating the front and the back. And so the front is about 900 square feet, and then the back is the other 1,800. And so the reason I decided to bring in vendors is because I needed like solid cash now, and I also don't have the budget to build out a 2,000 square foot store with inventory. And so what I've decided to do in terms of controlling the aesthetic is the front half, which faces the main street, has all the windows. I am 100% in control of that. I have, I'm currently doing the build out. I'm doing the aesthetic. I'm doing the displays and what I want, what I think will bring people in, the curb appeal, if you will, because the building's beautiful and it has 20 feet of windows across the front. Like, it is nothing but visuals. And I'm bringing in vendors on consignment in that area. And so we're just splitting a commission. I'm taking a 40% commission. They get 60, and I'm merchandising their stuff within the displays that I've built out and curated. And that's kind of how I'm controlling the front. And then the back half, I'm basically giving the same shell to everybody. And I rented out like 3-foot by 8-foot spaces. So I'm charging them a rental fee, which I think was like $425 for the 8-week span. And so they each have their own autonomy to do how they want. I put together like a little inspiration board of like the vibe I'm going for in the front, but ultimately decided that I'm going to let them have the freedom in the back that they want, because I am advertising it as like a Christmas market, and like I'm okay with the back has that bazaar feel. It's okay to me. Because like I'm still controlling the overall vibe of the room, which like I have some great lighting going in, and doing like custom signage for everybody above their booth. And that will be like the consistency, kind of like a trade show, where it's like, this is that so festive presenting this brand. But in the end, each little section is their own to do what they want. And because it's all Christmas themed, I think it'll be okay-ish, because it's like, it's Christmas. That's the theme, you know? Like, it's a pretty easy theme to nail. The color palette is pink, red, and green. Like, do what you can. But yeah, and then for those vendors, they have a 15% commission charge. And so everything will go through a central checkout, which will be staffed by me, and or I'll provide the staffing to do all the cashiering, so the vendors don't have to be there, which everyone's very excited about. And then I collect and pay all the taxes on their behalf, and then I just take the commission and write them a check. We're doing once a month payout, so payout in November, payout in December, and it should be pretty solid. And I think it's the best way to utilize that space, and to fill all of that space at once, because it almost was like a lost opportunity when we were talking in the concept plans. We were talking about just doing it in the front and not doing anything in the back during Christmas. I was like, there's 1,800 square feet. Like, let's just sell some table spots to get some people in there, you know? And it will give some local people local smaller business a chance to make some money this season too. Yeah. I mean,
okay, so you say that the back half is, how wide and how big is it to the back section?
So
Can you see past, there's something else back there?
it is like 40-inch hallway, 40-inch wide, and then it's like 5 feet long. I have full intentions of making that hallway look like something that you want to walk into, to encourage people to go back there. And people will, and that it'll be the job of my staff to be like, it keeps going, go back there. And so I think as long as it's inviting, people will continue their way back there. There's not, it's a 100-year-old building and it's all brick walls. So the back has like one window, but it has really decent LED lighting back there. And then I'm going to bring in just those classic strand Edison bulbs to kind of create a more warm aesthetic. We're getting all the walls painted and it'll be good. Daylight won't really be a thing, but it'll still be good and cute. And I think what I'm planning is for that walkway, I'm almost going to make it like another entrance, very enticing. Like, I think I'm going to cover the entire hallway in like red glitter wallpaper, like fully wrapped around. So it's almost like another photo opportunity for people. Cause I have a few photo sections planned as well, cause that's what people want to do when they go anywhere, is take photos.
Yes. Okay. And then my next question is loss prevention. With having a space and no vendors that are, maybe I'm guessing some of the vendors are going to want to be at some of the spaces, during the day. How are you tackling the loss prevention thing? Because that's obviously a thing retailers have a huge challenge with. Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that at the end of the day, if someone's going to steal from a small business, they're going to steal from a small business. I just started, like, I do have a whole camera system going in. And so, like, if something's caught or noticed, it's there. And I started with 4 cameras and it's not enough. So I'm getting a few more to have like a full 360 coverage. And it's just like, we do fortunately live in an area where it's not that common, if you will. But at the same time, it does happen. And, you know, I'm bringing in a lot of like jewelry and things of my own. And so I'm more worried about people getting those smalls personally. But at like the end of the day, it's just like one of those things that it's a cost of doing retail is people steal.
Well, I would hope that some of the people putting in spaces would want to be there, because we all know your product sells better when you're there to talk about it and touch and
totally. Yeah.
I would guess, and that'll be good. Even if there's just 2 people back there, do you, when you're, now that you're doing this and you're signing people up, do you have that in the contract as far as like, this is an open space, it is loss prevention, or, you know, whatever that.
Yeah, it is, like, it's in the agreement that I have, and it's a very, like, common type of agreement for consignment spaces. I have a couple stores that I still sell my stuff in on consignment, and it's, if something goes missing, like, it goes missing, and it's not fair as a vendor to ask the store owner to pay for it or reimburse, you know what I mean? And it's also, it's just a double lose, like, and so I will say, circling back to the cameras, I do have all the cameras connecting to kind of a front monitor up by the checkout stand, so there is like eyes in the back of my head or whoever's working. And yeah, I'm just hopeful that people don't. But at that, like, I do retail shows, and I always have a couple people every single show, like, try to steal things. And I'm like, that is a $5 Christmas card.
So dumb. I mean, it's amazing to me and you know, the real kicker that is really like eye-opening is that a lot of the younger kids, like, you know, I have a store in Studio City and Malibu for a while. And the people that were stealing are these kids that are so fucking wealthy. And it's like, why? Why are you stealing for $20? Like, even the crystal store. I mean, it's like these kids. And the scary part is, and it's like, I want to have a loss prevention person come on, because it is something that happens. And in California, there are very strict rules of what you can and can't do. And, you know, Raw Paradise would have their down the street from a high school. They have fucking bands of high school kids rolling through together groups. And like, then they split off, and they're all like, some of them are taking things and some of them are and it's scary to watch. And it's also like very, like, how do you control that? And every region. So I had to ask, because it's one of those things where, you know, it's a reality that it happens. And I mean, I don't see it. So I less fear someone walking in and doing a gunpoint. That happens at pharmacies and whatnot. And obviously, but smaller, it's really the kids, and it's a kids that have money, which is so like, I don't.
Yeah. And I know it is. And it, you know, I think it's just like, when I was a teenager, I was a klepto myself, but I had morals and I never stole from small business, only corporations. And, you know, there's some things that we can do, like a huge, easy one is backpack stay at the door type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of stores are doing that. And another one is, shame. I think I bring him up in the last episode, but Andrew from Curious in California, love him. Anytime he catches someone stealing, he posts their pictures all over social media. And I have no problem printing out pictures and pinning them to a wall in my store. You know what I mean?
Or in Studio City, Ashlyn takes it even one step further. She will go into the cameras, you know, and she's really good. She's got some high-end jewelry, meaning high-end for a gift store, like, so she'll notice something's missing, and then she'll first go to the register, check the register, see it hasn't sold, and then she'll go to the cameras, and then she'll find the picture of the person pulling it. She prints that. She puts it in the window of the store.
Oh, I love that.
exit one. And I was like, I don't know if that's legal, but I think if you...
No, it is, because it's in a public place and it's my right to record, take pictures in that.
Also, well, for California, I think you're supposed to have a sign that says
You
camera.
do for Washington too.
Yeah. So, but I mean, Andrew is, I mean, it's true. I think that's the best way to do the shame. And it's like, sadly, those parents of that kid or whoever, most of the time do shop in that store. And it's like,
Yeah.
I will never, but I think that's really smart. It's one of those things where, especially small businesses, and it's like, hit after a while, it starts to add up. Like
It does add up. In terms like I'm getting in some higher end jewelry, and I did manage to get some like glass display cases. So that stuff's going to be pretty okay. Cause that's like the high, like if something gets stolen, you're like, oh, that's literally $40, where like a greeting card, you're like, that was $275. So it's a little different. But yeah, and if I have any vendors that I'm finishing applications or processing applications this week from vendors and acceptance letters. So if I have anyone in the higher end, maybe we'll get a little creative about where their placement or, something like that. But yeah, it's just shitty, but I love the idea of doing a window of shame. That's hilarious.
I mean, it looks tacky as fuck. I'm not going to, if it's like,
I could do it cute though. I could make it cute.
you can actually do like cute frames, but a front window when you're looking at it, it's like her window comes around and kind of has a little return, and it's on the return as you go in. So it's like out of the coffee shop right next door. It's the window that you see. It's not the picture window that you drive by. I mean, and she's actually recovered merchandise, but she's also had neighbors because Studio City, she's on Tahunga, which is it's a very tight knit neighborhood, and also had neighbors. Like there's one guy that rides his bike up and down. He's a local that lives in the neighborhood, and he stops in, has coffee. He actually was like, hey, I think I saw somebody with that thing that I thought them, and they were home. Like one person, because she also has another store down the street that she's had 2 rocks thrown through the window.
Wow. Okay.
Crystals. But he talk about neighbors. He's like, I'm pretty sure it's one of the homeless people. So I'm going to go down to the homeless camp and go ask them. I'm like, he did more than the police did, which was, and I think they got some of the stones back from this lovely neighbor. And it's like, I think that those neighborhoods and people, I think they also want the best for you and will watch out for you. And it's like another set of eyes. Thank God.
Yeah. We have a very, the benefits of being in a small community is we are very connected. And if I have had an incident before, on like a personal level of like this teenage kid that, said some things to me that he shouldn't have. And I posted in our community Facebook group, and I said, if your child was wearing this today, this is what he did. And I had a mom show up at my door the next day with her son and made him apologize to me. So I think we have the benefit of a tight community is 8 out of 10 times if I post a picture of someone and be like, anyone know them? Someone will. But you have to catch it first. Yeah, it's a shitty thing you have to do in retail, but it is what it is.
Okay, enough about the bummer conversation. Now that I've brought everybody down. How did you get the words out in order to get applications? I'm assuming you went to people that you love, that you already know their product and you talked to them, but how'd you put the word out?
So I made a Facebook event page. The key to all success. Someone walked in my house. 1 second. You can walk behind me, just don't talk. It's my roommate. You can walk behind me, just don't speak.
Oh, wow.
Sorry. She's home from work early. I had so I made a Facebook page just so there was something for people to check out. And I made a page on my own website about it. That was just kind of the back end things. And then there was a few people I hand reached out to, and I had already kind of told what's happening. I was like, here's the official details, pricing, things like that. And then honestly, Facebook is just such a powerful tool. I always feel like people make fun of me with how much I use Facebook as a 26-year-old.
Because I I don't understand Facebook at all. Like,
So I'm in so many Facebook groups and they're just such niched down communities. I'm in one on like selling on fair, doing trade shows, and it's all these people that have that common interest. And in Washington, there's also some that are just for doing markets and like vendors connecting with event coordinators. And I've been in those groups from the vendor perspective. And so I shared in there. I had a fat email list of vendors from that year I planned the Pride event. And from a inclusion and equity standpoint, we're prioritizing, like if we sell all the spots, we're giving priority to those that are from marginalized communities. And so that was like a perfect opportunity to reach out to them. And yeah, I haven't looked, but like the last time I checked, there was like 16 applications and that was like a week ago. So there's probably 20 to 30 now, and I have room for 15. So
I mean, because the reason why I say I don't understand Facebook is because, that was obviously what we all did back in the day. And I feel like now, like I don't do anything on I mean, even my personal Facebook, it just sucks. It's like, I will throw up some pictures, but
yeah,
I haven't tapped into the value. I've tried a couple groups, but for merchandisers, usually merchandising groups are the people that go and merchandise.
totally. Yeah.
So we're Coca-Cola end cap. So it's been weird, but I do know there's a value to it. So yeah, interesting to hear you utilize that so much and have such success with it, because I don't know if a lot of people utilize it. I mean, Crystal from Crystal Media talks about it. It obviously has value still, but I don't use it. So I'm not as like,
yeah, I think the value's different. And I think there's a lot of value in the Facebook groups. And so like a couple, like when I like typed vendors right now in my Facebook, and there's like 3 separate groups for like vendors in Washington or Washington vendors for retail markets. And then one of my friends puts on a good Christmas show that I participate in, and she shared my stuff in her vendor group too. So it's just kind of a little bit of connections, a little bit of Facebook marketing. And then my last like hurrah, because the application close off date is tomorrow, but we have our local farmers event. And I just haven't been home on a Wednesday, but I'm going to walk the show tomorrow, or not show, but the market with postcards, and anyone that I think would be a good fit. I'm like, if you don't have like your Christmas stuff, like some personal reach out. But yeah, if you were like starting from scratch, I would start at your farmer's market, like honestly, because those are all usually small businesses, and farmer's market season ends usually September, early October. And so people are looking for that next chapter. And it's nice to advertise this opportunity that you don't have to be there. That's like the real selling point, is like, come sell your stuff, but you don't have to, because everyone values time right now. I think that's like our most limited currency is time. And so, yeah, I think it's got a selling point, because those pop-up vendor markets are just as exhausting as trade shows, if not more,
I mean, Rare Form, who opened her store this year, who has the card line as well.
Yeah.
He has her store still. She's still doing summer markets in Chicago. And
I didn't know she was doing markets too. Oh my gosh.
Wholesale shows as well. Like, it's like crazy. I'm like, how are you doing this? And she's got a rock solid team, like the girl that assistants, amazing. She handles, but she's also a mom with a young, it's like, she also has a husband. So it's a lot. She's got her hands on a lot. I'm like, and it is exhausting. Like, I just from show setups, from my perspective, it's exhausting. The good thing is, I'm lucky. I set it all up. I make it look pretty, and then I leave. Like, there's a lot of vendors that, like yourself, you do your own setup. You're in the show. You stay there. You sell. Then you talk to everybody, and then you go out at night. And then you got to pack it all up, and then go on to the next one. That's exhausting.
Yeah, it is exhausting. And like this Christmas season, before I knew I was doing a Christmas store, I had signed up for like 3 vendor markets. So I have three of my weekends. I'm running the store, running pop-ups. And here we are. Check in on me the second week of November. Ask how I'm doing.
Because I'm a Christmas baby. Do you love Christmas? Like, do you get it?
Oh, I am so Christmas. I love it. I have 7 Christmas trees I put up in my house. I love Christmas. And so this is like very on par with what I want to do. And we're opening October 25th for the Christmas shop. And everybody is like, are you doing fall Halloween? No, sorry. They're like, but it's before Halloween. I don't care. The only reason I'm opening before Halloween is because we do a huge community trick-or-treating event downtown at the businesses. And that is the best opportunity for me to advertise my brand new store that's on Main Street. Is we're handing out candy and postcards, and I'm putting together like actual gift bags and giving out freebies to all the parents so they get something, because parents never get anything on Halloween. I'm like, that's the only reason we're opening before Halloween. Otherwise, it would have been November 1st.
Brilliant. People, it's funny. Everyone goes back and forth. Like, are like, there's people that are diehard. Like, I don't want to have Christmas out. Like the old Nordstrom mindset of like, we'll set it up for Thanksgiving and then we'll open. But what's happening now is that your window of sell-through time is so short. And then add to that, like the Hobby Lobbies and the other stores that bring it in and knock it down to half off before some of these stores even have on their floor. And what I will say this is, because I leave for California the second week of October, because Bristol Farms, who is a 14 chain, very, very high end grocery store, we do all their holiday decor. And like, when I say we do holiday decor, it is over the top. I mean, every single end cap has lights and decor.
Wow.
Garland all the way around from the front of the store all the way to the back with decor, Christmas lights. I mean, Christmas trees, wreaths at every cashier. I mean, it's nuts. And this year we're doing it October 21st. And, we've done it once really early for another marketing person wanted to do it. And I have no idea if it was successful or not. But honestly, it's like they are doing it because they're tying it in with their meals that they do. Like if you want to order a whole holiday meal, because when people walk in, they see it all decorated. You get excited. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you're going to have people that are like, I'm talking more to people that are out there that are like,
totally. Yeah.
But you have people walking in, you're always waiting. Oh my God, Christmas already. But I think it was Andrew from Curious said, trust me, they're always the ones that buy first. Like they'll be the first one already, but they're walking out with an ornament, because if you're smart and you're able to train them, then they realize if they don't buy it now in October or whatever before Halloween, that when they decide that they are quote ready to go shopping for Christmas, it's going to be gone. And if you can get everyone kind of in that training wheel mode of understanding that, that's brilliant. And then you have a long
absolutely.
So,
and I think,
sorry,
I was going to say, I think that's like, we hate the big box, but that's something that they have built out for us. And it's something that is a great asset to the smaller people, because I have stores that don't switch over to Christmas until December 1st. I'm like, how? And my business mastermind group, me and like 4 other stationery people, we were talking the other day, and what was so weird last year was how last minute Christmas, the wholesale side of Christmas rush was. Normally, October is when all the Christmas orders come in, but I had people up until the first week of December asking me, how fast can you get me these Christmas cards?
Wow.
And I'm like, a week? What are you going to do in 11 days? You know what I mean? And it's weird how and I totally understand it from the small business perspective, like the smaller retails, they're not ordering huge Christmas orders. They're ordering multiple small ones, cash flow management, and you don't know what's going to sell through and things like that. But it's very interesting to me how short sometimes people keep it, because in my opinion, November 1st is Christmas. It is. And in my industry, in the line that I sell, I have 2 major holidays, and that's Valentine's and Christmas. I don't have fall products. You don't send Thanksgiving cards. It's not for me. And so that's why I started like November 1st is Christmas. January 1st is Valentine's, and you have to, even, January markets, people order Valentine's, and I'm like, that only gives you 3 weeks barely to sell it, and so I think you get the people that go Christmas already, but as long as, 1 in 4 people are buying a Christmas card or something from what that inventory you put out, it's worth it. Who cares what they complain about? They're not going to not come because you decorated for Christmas too early. Yeah.
Speaking of decor, so you're obviously going to be open before Halloween. So tell me a little bit about what the store is going to look like. Since you have 7 trees at home, how are you pulling all the stops out for the store?
So all my trees are going to the store this year. I'm not decorating at home.
God, at home.
Well, so brief backstory. I got divorced or separated from my husband in November. We're actively getting divorced right now. And to keep my house, I had to move my business home. And so my living room and dining room downstairs are now my studio, and that's where I used to decorate. And so it just doesn't feel the same. I'm going to put a tree in my room, and that's about it, because that's kind of like my space in the house. So I love decorating, and I don't care if I decorate here or at the store or at my grandma's or whatever. So that's the quick backstory to why I'm not decorating my house. I'll probably do Christmas lights on the outside and call it a day. But in the store, I haven't really right now I'm doing the build out of the pieces, and I haven't fully got to the decor side of things. But I'm doing a 19-foot wall of built-in bookshelves. And they're just going to be white. So it's like the perfect little foundation to do something. I'll probably go to the Forbidden Hobby Lobby. And they have the best prices on wreaths and greenery. They do.
My God, blasphemy! Total blasphemy!
I know.
Necessary evil. I've said that, but every gay man and every lesbian I work with is like, I can't support it because they are homophobic.
They're homophobic, and how I chalk it up is I'm a gay profiting off the things from Hobby Lobby, and so it cancels out. But listen, it is I'm not going to go spend $50 for a garland when I can get it for $12 at Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
That's doing myself a disservice, and we can people can come at me if they want. I got to do what I got to do within the budget I'm doing.
Necessary. In Las Vegas, I don't have a choice. It's not like I have a flower market to go to downtown. And P.S., they are cheaper than the flower market downtown. So it is necessary. I don't agree with the practices. And that's okay. I'm the first person to say that. But it's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
It's oh my God.
Yeah. So, I'll definitely do a lot of greenery. My dad's building a window riser right now for the window display. So there'd be lots of trees. There's the full white bookshelves. Another reason I didn't paint them like a Christmas color is because they're going to roll over into the normal gift shop we have. And then I'm doing this really the color palette for the store is a deep green, a pink, and a holiday red. And the holiday red is what will go out, and we'll keep the green and pink and add some other colors when we transition to a normal or an unthemed gift shop. But I got red glitter wallpaper that I'm going to wrap the checkout counter in. So it'll be very colorful and bright while working with what we have. And then, the products I'm bringing in themselves are pretty Christmas themed. We have lots of ornaments. I have 100 different Christmas cards coming. 17 of them are mine, but the rest I ordered from other card companies. And so I feel like the decor is already going to be built into the vibe of the thing. And I installed Alexas everywhere. I will have Christmas music going. I put one outside speaker in. And so October 15th, I'm just going to keep Christmas music on repeat and make people, all the windows are covered right now. It's in red and pink, the butcher paper covering the windows while we do a reveal or do the makeover. And so a lot of people have been asking questions what's happening in there? So Christmas music will start trickling out. I have a couple great photo areas set up. We're going to have Santa Claus and some other events happen during the market time. So, it'll be a vibe. It's coming together slowly. I had to redo the entire floor plan today because my original plans required an engineer to get city permits for. And so there were some height restrictions. And so I was at the store until 2 a.m. last night, just redoing everything and redoing the layout. So yeah, it's coming together. It's be fun, bright, and it'll have that joy and that spark. So
Doing some of your vinyls and some of your quotes and stuff like that, like on the windows, since you have so many windows, is it snarky Christmas as well, or?
so it's gonna be snarky leaning. It's not all snark, but like I'm basically gonna put there's this candle shop in Snohomish, and they sell sassy, snarky candles, and they have like a warning label on their front door for children, and I think it's the funniest thing. I don't know what it is word for word, but it's basically like if your children can read, it's like enter at your own risk type of thing. And that's like part of the tagline. It's not your granny's Christmas market. We're not like it's not for children, and that's fine. If you bring your children, that's fine. I don't want to like. Don't complain to me that your child said fuck because they read it off one of my things. So yeah, it will be snarky. I'm not going to do I won't do anything profanity in the windows because nobody could like, it's like non-consensual. Like, you know what I mean? Like they don't have the option to not read it, but I'm going to do something funny. And I'm starting the window layout next week. This week is get the building ready. And then I have a commercial vinyl cutter, so I just do it myself. But I'm going to do some fun things. And I'm going to do some window painting and, it'll be cute.
That'll be cute. I had a question and now I can't remember what the fuck I was going to ask you. God damn it. I've been good up until this point of remembering things. With your events, are you going to have events? And if you are, how are you putting the word out for any holiday events that you're going to have at the store? And if so, what do the events look like? And I wanted to ask you, are you having a traditional Santa?
We're doing a traditional Santa, and I almost have finalized a drag Santa. Where am I going with this? Like, we're not going to do family photos at the Christmas store, but we'll do like bring your bestie, bring your sister type Santa photos is kind of like the goal that we're marketing to. So we're doing some Santa pictures / drag Santa. I booked permanent jewelry pop-ups like on the like I'm trying to do something every Saturday. So we got like a permanent jewelry person coming in. We have a trucker hat bar. Those things are very popular. I'm trying to find someone to do cowboy hats bar because those are up and coming. I want to do a couple paint and sip classes. The girl that I know that I'm really good friends with, she does them, but she's going through some personal stuff. So I'm trying to like find an alternative to that. Couple after hours shopping events, some like late night things. But it's just going to all be built out through this huge Facebook event. And the one thing about the Facebook event is it all links together. And it's one of the easiest things on Facebook to promote because I can invite my entire friends list to the event, which I did. But then every time they like say interested or something, it shows up in their friends feed that, Amy's going to That's So Festive Market. And so I'm going to add some fuel to the advertising. Like I'll spend some money on the Facebook ads to boost it a bit once we get closer. But it really is such a insane. I think it's one of the most powerful ways to get word out on Facebook, especially once I get vendors solidified. I'll add all the vendors to the event and they'll be like co-hosts of it. And so then all their followers will see it. And it's just going to be kind of a spreading like wildfire thing.
Really smart.
Yeah, you asked me a couple other questions and I forgot what they were.
Oh, well, you answered the Santa question and then the marketing.
Okay. Oh, and the events marketing. Yeah. And I picked up postcards today. My business partner owns a pizza shop. And so a postcard will go on every pizza box that gets sold for the next 8 weeks. So, things like that. Lots of word of mouth, lots of social media.
And are you going to go live from the store on Instagram at all have you done any lives? I don't think I've seen you.
I don't do lives a lot.
TikTok?
I don't do TikTok lives. I don't do lives really at all. I used to, I don't know. I've never really found my niche of what style of live I want to do. But but I am a yapper. And so I think it could be something good. And I have enough followers on TikTok because you need like a certain amount to go live. But yeah, I'll probably do that. I'll be working the store on Fridays. And so that I'll probably develop some sort of thing that happens every Friday.
I mean, your coffee talk in the morning was so good. And then you, like you said, you're in it and then you're not in it. But I mean, that persona and that coffee talk chat is TikTok. Like,
my coffee rants do really, really well. And it just started like on accident. I was making coffee and I had something to say and I said it on my Instagram stories. And what I changed was I filmed them now rather than posting them to stories. And I've been putting them on TikTok because TikTok, you can do like longer content. I've been uploading them as reels. I think there's like a nice part of them being in stories, but it's a disservice to me for the longevity of the content because it disappears after 24 hours. So I'm trying to find an in between for them because like I always got something to rant about. Like I filmed one this morning and like TikTok is no problem. You can upload like up to 10-minute videos, but the problem with Instagram Reels is you're limited to 1 minute and 30 seconds, which is why a lot of them haven't been making it onto Instagram. But yeah, people just love authenticity. So go back to when we kind of touched on that. That's what people crave. Like, just be your authentic self. And yeah.
This is really horrible. But I think my favorite was you ranting about your ex, asking about when do we do our taxes. And it was like,
my taxes. Oh, don't even get me started. I could do it again right now. The way my heart just like inflamed and blood pressure went up.
Yeah, well, you didn't see on my stories, but I had piles because we moved. Everything was in a storage unit until we got here and then, whatever. But finally, thankfully, I do not have any contact with my ex, so I don't have to worry about him asking that.
Yeah, we're still married and still have taxes to file, so there's a little tiny bit of contact. But
I am super excited to see how this turns out for you. And please go live, or please at least do stories.
I will.
Stores, as well as like when you start doing teasers so people can see. Speaking of how people can see, please drop all your handles and where people can see you.
Yeah, you on like the business side, it's at That's So Andrew with an underscore at the bottom. If you would love to watch me rant on my TikTok, that username is Andrew Fegs, Fegz, which is my like a portion of my last name. And then the store is That's So Festive. It has its own Instagram. I don't know if I'll use it or not yet. But yeah, you can go watch there. But yeah, Instagram is where I'm the most active, Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, and then we'll probably do a follow-up episode and we'll go over
your information, your brand. So if people want to.
Oh, and that's soandrew.com. That's the website. I always just give everyone my Instagram. I never put my website on anything. Yeah, that's soandrew.com has the entire product line that you can see and get some great Christmas cards and all the things.
I love our conversations and I can't wait to see how this develops. And you are really inspiring to me. I mean, you are 30 years younger than I am. And it's so inspiring to see. I mean, I think for a lot of the young entrepreneurs, like it's so inspiring to watch what you guys are doing and because you're doing it differently, but also like how you are creating your own wealth and how you are controlling your own brand. And I think that's something people my age or people that are even yours, I don't understand the value of controlling your brand and understanding how to navigate it to where you want to go. And you are doing that. And it's really inspiring to watch. And it's also fun to watch because you're hilarious. So, but,
appreciate it. Thank you.
For inspiring me. And I know you're going to inspire a lot of people when people hear this.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.